Virgo, this is your weekly reading. I'm so sorry. I should have gotten this up yesterday, April 29th. It's now April 30th. So this will go up either today or tomorrow. So let's say this is April 30th or May 1st as it happens to the 7th of May as a weekly reading. And this is for 2021. And I hope it's a good one. I'm just going to do a very quick and simple reading today. Just a one-card overview and a recent past, present, and near future card. So we'll see what that all comes out like. I'm hoping it's fabulous. Lots of wands. Okay, so the first card, the Five of Wands. This card can mean so many things. And it'll be different for all of you or many of you. It can often mean arguing. Sometimes the arguing is, actual all-out arguing that can turn into a fight, or just really brutal arguing, or it can mean banter, like it sounds like you're arguing, but you're actually quite fine with it, and it's not really an argument. Just that back and forth, back and forth. It can also mean a training exercise, especially if you're engaged in anything like you're learning something new that's completely different out of your skill set, or if you're learning something that is, simulating like war, like you're doing fencing, or I often get this card for when people are engaged in martial arts of any kind. So that is a potential reason for getting the card. But typically it means there's arguing over something. So you might be engaging in some arguments this week. So I don't know who that's with. It will be different in all of your particular circumstances. I'd like to say that I'm not going to argue with anyone this week. I'm not Virgo, I'm Aries, but I usually do have some kind of an argument at some point. So maybe you're less argumentative than I am and you won't actually have any, but there will be potential arguments. So I'm going to warn you to look out for that. Sometimes this kind of thing happens in the workplace, because there always seems to be, depending on how many people you have in your workplace, there can often be people with a little bit of jealousy or a little bit of antagonistic attitude towards certain people. Then we've got the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is all about learning to put things into action. Now, this was in your recent past. So if you just started something up, it's interesting because here in the future, you've got the beginnings of an idea. And here you've got the Page of Wands learning to put something into action. I could say these are all fairly interchangeable. But you know what? I'm going to just say you're probably a person who puts lots of things into action. So this would happen in both placements. That's what I'm just going to guess. So the Page of Wands, someone learning to put something into action. So maybe you learned how to do something new. Maybe you had a lot of things you had to learn to start a business or to write a book or to start anything. Decide that you've never cooked anything in your life and decide you're going to learn how to cook and cook dinner every night. So there would be a lot of learning in putting that thing into action, whatever it may be. So this is your recent past, and obviously you learned to do something that is an active thing to do. This card is a little bit more complicated. The Moon is just a complicated card. It can mean so many things. It usually speaks of the subconscious. Sometimes it means nightmares and dreams. It often means there's confusion about something, big confusion. Something is very mysterious. It could mean, I'm not trying to generalize here because maybe you have something very specific that it's referring to. But a lot of people right now are very confused because we don't know what's going on. We can't make the plans we want to make, and we don't really know what to do when we can't plan everything out the way we want to. So it could relate to that, the state of the world and how it's affecting your life. And a lot of people, quite honestly, are having dreams and nightmares about that also because they're kind of petrified about, what could happen, some of the things that are going on. So maybe it's something like that, but maybe it's something way more specific in your own life. Maybe you're going through something that's giving you bad dreams. Maybe you aren't sure why you're having bad dreams, but you are. And if that's the case, I know it sounds a little stupid whenever anybody says, write this down and write that down and evaluate it, but dreams if you have them and you're up for a minute or two and then you go back to bed, you quite often will forget them. So you could write it down and then think about it the next day. What could that mean? Sometimes what your mind spills out at night is random, but sometimes it actually really makes sense when you think about it and kind of go over it and figure out where these things came from. Sometimes there are very specific events that have happened in your week, and then you go, oh yeah, that's probably why I was thinking about that, because that other thing. But sometimes there isn't something that you can attach it to like that. And when that happens, quite often you can kind of put the pieces together and figure out what it's about. Sorry, I'm so allergic right now. There's everything blooming where I am, and it's just causing me to choke all the time. So it's not like I can just go, well, I could go, all right, every time I cough, I'm going to turn off the camera and start over. But I fear I would never get anything accomplished if I did that. So I'm just going to continue on. So all this action, and then you've got all these ideas, or at least one big idea about putting something into action here in the very near future. And I have a feeling, because you are an action-oriented person, I have a feeling you're going to do it. You have a great idea, and you're going to put this into action. So generally, this is an okay reading. I mean, I know arguments don't sound good, but sometimes they are productive arguments. Sometimes they get you where you need to go. And if they're not, you don't have to engage if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. If it's your spouse or somebody who you can't avoid them forever and you really have to deal with it, go for it. Just, remember it's somebody you love, if it is, and look at it from that basis, and don't say anything you're going to regret. Be really, be a little cool and calculating about it. Be honest, be open, but, don't get taken down in an argument. You know what point you want to get across. Get your point across and do it in a way that you're not going to feel horrible about yourself later. You want to make it go in the right direction, and you can direct it. You have a lot of power here. You're a person who puts things into action. You don't have to allow things to go off into a tangent where you don't want them to go. And you know you've learned how to put things into action here somehow, and now you've got this great idea, or maybe more than one great idea. So I'm going to unleash you on the world, and have a fabulous week. I have a feeling you will. And my email's below if you want to tell me anything. And I will be having a couple of new videos for you in the next couple of days. So be productive, be good, have a great time, and I hope to talk to you soon.